Hey, Jim's class.
Your teacher tells me.
Yeah, Sammy, let's go. So your teacher said that you guys just finished watching Ghost of Rwanda and our 40-minute film, I'm Not Leaving, and you have some questions. Let's see, Jake, you're asking about the worst roadblock. Boy, they were all terrible, but I do remember a day stumbling into a roadblock where militia had stopped police officers, and the militia were hassling, and there was a bunch of arguing going on, and they came up to our car and wanted me to roll down my windows, and I didn't want to roll down my windows, and they were shouting journalist, and I'm like, no, I'm Adra, and then the police Land Rover took off, and I'm like, I cannot stay here, and I just hit the gas, and I remember a guy with sitting in the back of the Land Rover, kind of had a cage over it, and he had the back door open, and he's pointing his assault rifle. I trusted at the militia guys who were behind us now, but no, the roadblocks they were always a tough thing, you know. It was actually better when they were manned by the soldiers. Michael, you want to know about other people like me in crisis zones today? Well, first name that comes to my mind is Dr. Tom Katenda. Dr. Tom is in the Nuba Mountains. He's actually been there for like 10 years. Check him out. You just look up Dr. Tom, Nuba Mountains. Very inspiring story. But you know, the local people, the local aid workers, they are doing such incredible things. I heard a great TED Talk the other day about building a hospital, crowdfunding a hospital in Syria. And they were talking about the local humanitarian workers. Check out that TED Talk. Let's see, what's her name? I wrote it down here. Rola, R-O-L-A, Rola Hallam. Like going down the hall in the morning, hall, H-A-M. I mean, H-A-L-L-A-M. Rola Hallam. It's an inspiring story about the local humanitarian workers and what they're doing with so little there in Syria. Rhett, you were asking about strength and courage to trust somebody, like the time that the lieutenant was, the lieutenant came to the orphanage and I left the orphanage in his care. I think that, yeah, desperation is a big part of the equation, but also, you know, believing that the potential for good is there inside of people. You know, that people do have this potential to do good, and believing it. Now I've kind of got this phrase, finding allies among the enemy, which I think is a new pathway in our brain, a new way to think about things. But definitely we got to believe that the potential for good is in everybody. If we don't believe it, we're never going to access it. I mean, we won't even try with certain people. But if we believe it, well, we won't always be able to pull it out, but we'll have a lot better chance of doing that. Let's see, Lily, some things on my mind when I was in the plane heading to Nairobi at the end of the genocide. Oh yeah, well, it was family, without a doubt. Family was big on my mind. But you know, I remember climbing in that Canadian C-130. I sat down in a seat kind of strapped to the side of the plane. It's a transport plane, so not these comfortable seats of a commercial airliner. And I saw the Canadian soldiers going through all their checklist and, you know, doing all the pre-flight stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this feels really good. Feels really good to be in a safe, secure, disciplined environment, you know, structure, systems in place. And then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute though. For the last 3 months, you've been in very unsafe, in fact, structures and systems failed us miserably. And so I think one of the questions, you know, that kind of came after that, I mean, obviously, like I said, thinking about my family, but that quick jumping back into trusting systems and, you know, structures, we can't trust them. They're wonderful, and we work to do what we can through them and with them. But what we've really got to have clear in our minds is what we believe, where we put our trust. what do we believe about ourselves? What do we believe about others? Many of us explore, what do we believe about God? Do we believe really in the power of love? Is kindness and compassion really powerful enough to see us through these difficult situations instead of believing in systems and structures? My friend Gasikwa, you remember in the film, they came to kill the people he was protecting in his home, and he greets them with kindness. He greets them with empathy. He's got a couple of chickens in his hand, and he's like, Bernard, your daughters must be hungry. He greets them with that kind of respect and empathy and inclusion. And I've come to believe that those are super powerful, important values that we can hold, that can see us through really, really tough situations. So thanks for that question, Lily. Tyler, you want to know how I felt when I was working with the kids and the snipers started shooting at us. Well, definitely terrified, like somebody's going to get hurt, and then thinking, whoa, these guys are amazing. They're fearless. And then we all just kind of dug down and said, hey, we can do this. Fear can paralyze you. A mission can unparalyze you. And being part of a team is like triple unparalyzing. So, yeah, it's an incredible story when I think back on it. Oh, let's see. Drew, you wanted to know what brought me into public service life. Stories, I'm sure as a kid reading stories, whether they were stories during war times, stories of the French Underground, the Underground Railroad, Bible stories of people in service, and then you get to experience it. I was so fortunate. My parents modeled it super effectively for me. And once you start tasting service, I really think we're wired for it. Like, wow, this is what we're meant for, to be able to be part of service, of helping somebody. In fact, as you guys are heading out to this summer, I hope you're going to dig into some projects where you can be involved in service. And I know some of you, I'm sure you must already be doing that. So thanks for your questions. Oh yeah, some of you were asking about Instagram or Twitter, Facebook. I don't know if you do any Facebook still. But yeah, we are there. Usually on Instagram, it's, what is it on Instagram? Just Carl Wilkens. Twitter is World Outside My Shoes, but it is at Carl Wilkens. And Facebook, again, you can find it with Carl Wilkens. Hey, big shout out and thanks to you, my buddy Jim. Thanks for the work you're doing in the classroom. And I hope we'll get to cross paths. If you students want to email me or something, please feel free. Would love to get a message from you and have conversation. And good luck in your studies. Yeah, good luck. Thanks again, Jim. Hey, you know what, you guys? You should make sure that you get your teacher to go with us to Rwanda next summer, 2019, to come with a group of teachers to Rwanda. Do what you can. Get that guy, Jim. Get him to Rwanda. Take care. See you now.